Hello, my name is Dr. Mornay Mostert. I'm the Director of the Institute for Futures Research, or IFR as we're better known at Stellenbosch University. Ever since our establishment in the early 1970s, large businesses have approached us to help them develop strategic foresight. Why is that important? Because decision making will be the number one determinant of the quality of organizational futures. So why do organizations use us, and how do they in fact use our products and services? Essentially, we have a series of research papers and interactive events. Research papers appear weekly, monthly, quarterly and annually and give an insight into current developments that may be signals for future developments. Our interactive events that occur at least quarterly present organizations with thought leadership in the field of future studies that looks at both methodologies of studying the future as well as the possible evolution of multiple futures, both for South Africa and indeed the African continent. So, a large organization approaches us and becomes an associate of ours. What is their experience? Well, the first thing they will receive is some of our written publications. That means on a weekly basis, they'll find out on our African product, for example, what's going on the continent, where have we had elections, where are political powers shifting, what's the media showing, how's the money flowing, how is the talent migrating, and very importantly, what might that mean for where Africa might be going. So that happens on a weekly basis. On a monthly basis, we write a more in-depth piece on one of our themes. On our African product, that means that we look at security in Africa, we look at social capital, we look at the mind of the African strategist as one of the flagships for what we're developing here at the Institute for Futures Research. So at least once a month, we write a paper that's really succinct, 2 to 3 pages, that gives senior people a quick insight into a kind of a deep dive into one of these themes on our African product. Now, in addition to this, we have a number of events throughout the year. At least once a quarter, a thought leader will address these executives on both methods and developments on the African continent or for our own country here in South Africa. And that means that senior people get exposure to the latest thinking, both on developments and methodologies as it relates to futures research. The value of that input is that it enhances the quality of executive decision making. In fact, the art and science of decision making is one of our main focus areas. So, senior people are exposed to developments and methodologies as it relates to the study of the future, and that enables them to make better quality decisions. Now, if you think about the implications for executive decision making, this is significant. Because once you're an executive, of course, your decisions have vast implications for the organization and, of course, its future. So, imagine that you're making decisions without an insight of developments on the continent or nationally in our country, and you're really just making those decisions based on last year's figures or trends from the last few years. Well, of course, the dilemma is the future is unlikely to be a simple carbon copy of the past. Therefore, because decisions can only be made for the future, they must be based on what is most likely to occur in that future. And that is why we've had large organizations who have been members of our services for many decades and read on a weekly, monthly, quarterly and annual basis what we have to say about the future and attend our events where they can engage meaningfully with senior thought leaders in our field. The future is subject to our collective decision making. That decision making must be enhanced by deep consideration of what the future might hold.